Is there a smart way to play? Can you maximize the odds of winning and minimize your odds of losing? I'm James Coburn. Join me and discover winning strategies for slot machines.
Now available, a video that will show you completely legal casino busting methods, guaranteed to make you a better, smarter slots player. We'll show you how slots really work, which machines to play and which ones to avoid, plus tips and proven strategies that could help you get the biggest payouts. So if you love slots, if you want to get tried and tested slot secrets, if you want to help increase your chances of hitting it big, order this video now. Your odds just got better.
Credit card customers only. Call 1-800-813-3434. Just $24.95 plus $5.95 shipping brings you one step closer to jackpots you've only dreamed of before. Also available strategies for blackjack and winning strategies for craps. Call now.
In heat, it nourishes your skin and eases pain in your joints. When finished, just strip it. The wax easily peels off, leaving your skin smooth and soft. Similar products sell in catalogs for up to $229. Now treat your skin the spa way with IGEA ThermoSpa Paraffin Wax Therapy for the cost of just one visit to the spa. Stop scraping away dead, dry skin. Just dip it with IGEA ThermoSpa Paraffin Wax Therapy. With paraffin wax, plus the 2 terry cloth heat covers and 50 liners. Also ask about our free instructional video. But wait, there's even more. Call right now and you'll receive a lifetime supply of paraffin wax free. That's right, IGEA will send you free paraffin wax for life. Order now.
Call 1-800-319-2121 to order ThermoSpa with a free lifetime supply of paraffin wax refills for only 4 easy payments of $29.95 plus shipping. If you're not completely satisfied with ThermoSpa, return it, but keep the wax as our gift.
Hi, I'm Andrea Thompson. This week, from the very first fingerprints, see the inventions that revolutionized crime solving. Plus forensic files, iDetective, and the system. The Saturday Night Solution. Tomorrow from 8 to 11, only on Core TV.
He sent me down a good and a strong path. And I think that there are other people that he can do that for still.
Benjamin Newlander asked a jury to spare his father's life. Welcome to this Friday edition of Both Sides. I'm Ricky Kleeman.
You stole my thing.
I did. I started
was
for
supposed
you.
to open up. This is
now
very
you
important.
can say.
And it says, I'm Ricky Kleeman.
But,
really.
but was it good that at least I said I'm Ricky Kleeman, not everybody is?
Oh, well,
you can
anyway,
read that first
anyway,
paragraph.
I'm Ricky Kleeman. Rabbi Fred Newlander has been convicted of his wife's murder. It's not
But I'm
funny.
going to now do this, and
Oh,
we'll get
okay,
back
that's
to
it, that's it.
normal.
Okay.
So what happens when you're away for a few days and you find out somebody's waiting to know if they get life or death? Well, Fred Newlander is now back in court as a jury decides what his penalty is going to be, life behind bars or death. Today, the jury finally heard from Fred Newlander, who addressed them, as is his right, where he was not cross-examined. And as to both sides, the jury either resented his arrogance or believed that he still was a man of faith. I'm certainly glad to be back here today with you. I guess a little too glad to be back since I jumped the gun on Eddie. But I want to talk to the people who really know about this case, and we're privileged to have them. Our own Vinnie Politan, of course, who has been covering this case from the very beginning. And this is the first time that I'm getting to speak, and Eddie's getting to speak with Michael Riley, who is sitting next to him. Mike, first of all, I want to commend you really, truly, as a trial lawyer of many, many years, for the excellent work that you did. And despite the verdict, I think that you should be very proud of your commitment and your role in the profession. And looking at that, I want to just start and ask you, the question I would want to be asked, or I would be thinking about, is how do you feel right now?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for your kind comments and the kind comments that I know you directed and sent in my direction over the past few weeks. I truly appreciate it. Right now, I'm concerned. This jury is a group of people that are all very analytical people. They were selected for that purpose, I think, and I'm concerned. I don't know how effective the allocution was this morning. I think the theme that was developed for it was good. There may have been aspects of it that may not have been as effective as I'd hoped, and there's always a great concern at this point at the trial.
Mike, What do you think was the strongest evidence against your client? What hurt him the most with the jury?
You know, that's a real good question. Obviously, Janoff is the sole witness that puts direct evidence at the foot of the rabbi. It was difficult to imagine that the jury would accept everything that Janoff had to say. My belief is at this point that they accepted portions of what he had to say and looked for collateral circumstantial evidence to support and verify those aspects of his testimony. And I think the cumulative effect of that between Janoff and the supporting circumstantial evidence, I think, is what probably did it.
What was the strongest circumstantial evidence to support it?
Well, I think a number of things. I think the conversations to Pepe Levin were problematic. I think the circumstances surrounding the discussion of the envelope that Rebecca had with her mom, I think was very, very troublesome. And there's just things along those lines that in isolation didn't appear to have that much power to them, but when combined and associated with some aspects of Janoff, I think that may have been their analytic process. That's a guess, but that's my thought.
Mike, one of the things that our viewers certainly understand by now in death penalty cases is that there's a concept called residual doubt or lingering doubt.
Right.
And if this is not a case with residual doubt, I don't know what is. So if you have an analytical jury, don't you think that they would lean your way and not give him the death penalty?
Well, from an analytic perspective, I would agree. The biggest fear I have today, to be honest with you, is possible reactions to aspects of his allocution. I think there were some emotional components to it that may not have been well received by the jury, and that has the potential to be problematic, I think.
Mike, I assume from your name that you, like I, am an Irish Catholic. If you were sitting in judgment over a priest that was charged with a sexual assault of a child that was more or less in his care, would you be inclined to be harsher on that priest because of the breach of trust? And if so, is that relevant to what the jury should consider in this case?
Well, that's an interesting question. It has certain different levels to it. I think at first blush, there is an emotional component to that, and you would tend to hold a clergyman to a higher standard. I think part of our defense was to separate out that component and force them to look at the evidence purely as Fred Newlander, the defendant.
In this case, Mike, I'm on your side of this, if one has a side of this, and I would and I've been very vocal about it. I would have never put Rabbi Newlander on the stand during the case in chief.
Right.
It's easy to sit here in my seat and say that. It's very different for you to say it over there. But I think his right of allocution, which is a peculiarity to certain states, obviously in New Jersey, he has the right to testify, in essence, allocute, speak without being cross-examined at this penalty phase. And he was, I fear, the same way he was in the first trial. He is arrogant. He is in denial, totally in denial. And albeit you could see what a mesmerizing orator he once was in his own life. And I can understand, as you watched him today, why you might be worried about his allocution. But I would think it might confirm in your own belief that it was correct for him not to testify during the guilt phase. What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. We spent a lot of time looking at the videotapes that we had the opportunity to see, thanks to Court TV. Actually, without that input, we wouldn't have been able to see him live. Basically, I think there has been a problem with the perception of arrogance, and I think it would have come through very harshly for him if he had testified.
Michael, do you do mostly criminal defense work, or do you do a variety of trial work?
I do a variety of trial work, but I don't know, you may or may know, I was first assistant in Burlington County for approximately 16, 17 years, and my total time as a prosecutor exceeds 20 years, so I do a lot of criminal work.
Michael, when you were asked to take this case, why did you decide to agree? I mean, it's one thing to say, well, the court asked me, so I took it. But you have too big of a reputation down there. If you didn't really want to take it, you wouldn't have had to have taken, you could have gotten out of it. Why did you decide to take it?
Well, this is an answer I can give you that I think both of you will agree with. We're trial lawyers, and we try cases, and that's what we do. And this case has everything. It has a very interesting defendant. It has a lot of issues with regard to the quality of the state's case. There was reasonable doubt in my judgment throughout, and if developed properly, I think could have been presented in a way which hopefully would have had a better result. But
Mike, let me interrupt you for a second, which is that I can tell from your voice, first of all, that you're tired. And second of all, that one of the things that's going on in your mind is maybe I should have done some different. I don't agree with you, Mike. I think I was in homicide. I put more guys in jail 1 year for murder than anybody else in New York City my last year in the DA's office. I think they had a very strong case. You had a very, to be honest with you, Mike, repulsive defendant. All right? He was somebody that hurt himself a lot. And so I think you were an excellent cross-examiner. Your courtroom presence is terrific. I don't think you should have a moment of self-doubt.
Well, as you guys know, you've tried cases for a number of years. You know that you don't learn anything from the cases that you win. You only learn from the cases that you don't win. And that period of self-examination goes on for a period of time. And I think it's a fruitful thing to engage in, to be honest with you. Right now, you're right, I'm tired and, somewhat distressed as to where we are right now. But to answer your initial question, the case had a little bit of everything. It was certainly a professional challenge. Very familiar with Jim Lynch and the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. I have enormous respect for their office and for him as an attorney and as a person. So the opportunity to try this case was something I really couldn't walk away from. I was really quite engaged to do it.
Michael, how is Rabbi Fred Newlander taking all of this? I know you can't disclose your communications, but you certainly can disclose his demeanor. I mean, he winds up not testifying. He winds up with a guilty verdict, and he has only himself today to come forward and, in essence, beg for his own life. How's he doing?
Right. Well, I think he's scared.
Yeah.
He's very concerned. And beyond that, I don't know really how else to describe him.
Michael, can you stay with us for a few more minutes with Vinnie Politan?
Yes.
We'd appreciate it if you can.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Problem.
And to all of you, what do you think about either the capital murder trials that we've been covering today? Please let us know. Eddie and I love hearing from you. I promise not to read any more of Eddie's scripts ever again. You can send us an email to this address. It's the red eye. What can I say? Both sides at courttv.com. As we go to a break, this is very interesting. Here's what one viewer had to say about the statement Rabbi Fred Newlander made earlier today.
On the next Hollywood at Large, action! We take an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the Court TV original movie.
I don't know what they did to make him say that, but he didn't do it.
The interrogation of Michael Crow.
Put that on the video.
And
my friends call me Jinx.
My friends call me James Bond.
Glitz, glamour, and fancy gadgets.
Got your attention.
Does the super spy really exist? You'll be surprised at what we've uncovered. All that and more on Hollywood at Large, tonight at 7, only on Court TV.
It's a beautiful morning.
Ask your doctor about Vioxx, a prescription medicine from Merck. And find out if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx.
From #1 best-selling author Michael Connelly comes a searing new thriller, Chasing the Dime.
Where is she?
Would you risk your life for a woman you've never met?
Where is she?
Chasing the Dime by Michael Connelly.
Ever try to use a bank or broker to refinance your home? That's why we started eLoan. It's a better way to refinance. Needless paperwork? Gone. Lender fees? Gone. Waiting for a decision? eLoan, we believe everyone is entitled to the right loan at the lowest possible rate, based on your credit, not your negotiating skills. You get your cash fast, at a great rate. A bank shouldn't come between you and your money. That's why there's eLoan. Apply now at eLoan.com or call 1-800-ELOAN22.
I have asthma. I also have coaching running through my veins. I have a daughter who's a fearless midfielder and a dad who taught me that when you give it your all, you always win. I have asthma, but it's just a single part of my life, and Singulair is part of what I do every day to help control it.
Singulair is not a steroid, and it's not an inhaler. It's a different kind of asthma controller. It's a once-a-day tablet that can help control your asthma for a full 24 hours. It also comes in a cherry chewable tablet for children 2 years and older. Singulair should not be used to treat acute asthma attacks. Continue taking your other asthma medicines unless your doctor tells you to stop or change the dose. If symptoms get worse, contact your doctor at once. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, flu, runny nose, and ear infection. For more information about Singulair, ask your doctor. And ask about adding once-a-day Singulair.
I have asthma, but I don't want it to defeat me.
Singulair, asthma control that can help you breathe easier.
There are certain things you do to take care of yourself. You see your doctor for an annual physical.
Excellent.
And your dentist twice a year.
Open wide.
Your credit needs checkups too, so you can head off problems that could cause you to be turned down for a mortgage, a car loan, even a credit card. And now you can get that checkup right on your computer. Log on to freecreditreport.com and we'll show you how to find out online what's in your credit report, who's been checking it, and whether everything's accurate. It's easy, convenient, and online at freecreditreport.com. So log on today or give us a call. Because when it comes to your credit, freecreditreport.com is just what the doctor ordered.
Log on to freecreditreport.com today or give us a call at 1-800-409-4995.
On the next Crier Live.
She got the exclusive, a Connecticut teen who wrote to Michael Skakel in prison and got a letter back. She joins us, plus the latest on the sentencing of David Westerfield.
Catherine Crier Live, today at 5, only on Court TV.
As you know, we're waiting to find out if Rabbi Newlander is going to be sentenced to death. With us, we have Vinny Politan, who is our reporter on the scene, an exceptional guy at every level, and the defense lawyer, Mike Riley, who I thought was, and I still think, is a very fine lawyer. And now, after seeing him up close today and seeing his reaction, I can see how seriously he takes his responsibilities. And I have now, I mean, it's not just clear what a good professional is, but what a fine man he is. But, Mike, I want to ask you two very direct questions. The first is, do they actually execute people in New Jersey? Have people been executed in New Jersey? And if the state does kill you in New Jersey, how do they do that?
The first question is, no, they have not executed anybody yet. They've got a number of people on death row. I think Rob Marshall may be pretty well finished with his appeals. That's the case from Ocean County approximately 16 years ago.
That's the guy who killed his family?
Killed his wife. Had his wife killed at a rest stop on the Garden State Parkway.
Right.
And the second question is they execute people by lethal injection here in New Jersey.
I want to go out to Vinny for a moment, if I may. You know, Vinny's watching Rabbi Fred Newlander on the stand today in terms of his right of allocution, that is, he can speak without being cross-examined, was, I have to say, one of the most intriguing things I've ever watched at Court TV. The problem, of course, is Mike Riley is very concerned as to how some jurors may have perceived it, because I think you get both sides. I think you get this brilliant orator, and you get this man he's in total denial, or else, of course, he could be innocent. But if the problem is the jury said he was guilty. So how did the jurors react?
Yeah, that's the problem, that he's speaking to a group of people who said, you know what, you hired someone to kill your wife. And then you get up there and talk about how you and your wife used to talk about growing old together slowly and how he loved her and still loves her. That was a problem, because at that moment, when he starts talking about Carol and his love for Carol Newlander to this jury, I saw a few of them that kind of put their heads down and were shaking their heads.
Vinny, it's not just...
Now is not the time to talk about this.
Vinny, it's also... I mean, he may have loved her, but he was not the world's best. I mean, it's one thing that he had like 5 girlfriends, and he wasn't exactly the world's best husband, so that can't have helped him either.
Yeah. It's very problematic. So when he spent so much of that time, the precious time, to beg for your life, and you're talking about how great Carol was and how vibrant, how gritty, and how much you loved her, well, These are the 12 people who just told the world that you had her killed for $30,000. That was a big problem this morning.
Michael Riley, this is our last chance to speak with you today, and unless, of course, there is a verdict today. And I just wanted to ask you one question about Jim Lynch and his appeal to the jury today. I really thought that he was pretty mild. I thought that he could have really demanded that death penalty, and I wasn't hearing that.
I think on the scale of reactions, Jim was relatively mild. I think he did a very thorough, very professional, complete job. I admire him very much as a lawyer and as a person. He's really a really good guy.
Michael Riley, I want to thank you first on my own behalf. I just think you are a great role model for attorneys throughout the country. I also think I say the same thing about Jim Lynch. It was a privilege to watch the two of you work together. So I wanted to add my thanks before I turn it over to Eddie to add his.
I agree completely. We're going to a break. Today is one of those days where Court TV is... To watch Court TV and for all of us to try and think together in these ultimate kinds of situations, what's right or what's wrong to do with somebody, this is a day above all other days. So stay with us for the rest of our show, please. We're going to a break now. We'll be back.
Legal flashback, November 22nd, 1963. The world is shocked when President John F. Kennedy is assassinated in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. Lee Harvey Oswald is arrested for the murder. And in 1996, O.J. Simpson testifies before a jury for the first time during his civil trial. He denies killing his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman.
If you want to know more about the stories behind the trials, go inside the world of crime and justice.
The thing about homicide is this is what we do.
At CourtTV.com or log on to America Online and enter AOL keyword CourtTV.
The power of two.
Chevrolet of Bellevue.
Chevrolet of Issaquah. Save $6,000 off. Chevy Power Seal.
Nobody beats these promo prices.
200 new 2003 Tahoe and Suburban LT 4x4s, all $6,000 off. 200 your choice, $6,000 off.
Promo prices you can depend on.
5,000.
Through Sunday only at Chevrolet of Issaquah. And Chevrolet of Bellevue.